I wanted to just start off and get your reaction to how much of a nail-biter your own race was and how concerned you were that it could have gone the other way.
Well, at the final conclusion, it was 310 votes. And in fact, we were leading by 300 last night, but we had to wait until the special ballots were counted today. Those are the ballots where people can walk into a returning office anywhere across the country and vote for Vancouver Kingsway. So I just found out for sure about 45 minutes ago that the results are official. So it was a long night, it was a long day, but we're feeling quite relieved and grateful to the people of Vancouver Kingsway.
How are you feeling about the broader picture and what I spelled out in the introduction that, of course, informed Mr. Singh's decision to announce his resignation last night? This is, and I don't mean this with any disrespect, but like the worst showing of your party historically. How are you reflecting on that this evening?
Well, I have a range of emotions. You know, I have gratitude, I've got sadness, and I have hope for the future. You know, I guess I'm grateful for Jagmeet Singh's leadership. He led with courage, he led with heart, he led with principle. I mean, because of him and his leadership, millions of Canadians will have access to dental care and prescription medications. You know, workers get 10 paid sick days. We have a school nutrition program. His leadership and our caucus last Parliament made a real difference. I'm sad, of course, because we lost some excellent parliamentarians and our seat count is down. It was not the result that we wanted, but I'm hopeful because this doesn't define our future. You know, we're going to do a root and branch analysis of what happened and why, and then we'll start the process of rebuilding because I do think that the values that the New Democrats have been championing are still values that really resonate with the majority of Canadians. I think we had a very unique election with Mr. Trump. And, you know, I think a lot of New Democrats voted out of fear of Mr. Trump as opposed to a rejection of our values. So it's a sobering day, but the rebuilding starts tomorrow.
I think it's totally fair to acknowledge the impact that Donald Trump had on a number of Canadians who ultimately were very focused on the idea of who forms government. But does your party not need to take a harder look at, you know, for example, going into that agreement, its own record on that agreement, kind of its own conduct, the leadership even of Mr. Singh, in order to really identify what went wrong in order to fix it? Like, do you not need to take a little bit more responsibility for leading yourselves down the path you've gone down?
Yeah, I think it's a fair comment, Vashti. I mean, we'll have to have a really honest appraisal and a realistic assessment of the positives that we accomplished, but also, you know, where we can improve. And of course, we're in a minority parliament, it looks like again. And it looks again like the New Democrats, you know, reduced as we are, may hold the balance of power again. So I think there are important lessons to learn from the last parliament about working together and how we can advance the policies that the majority of working Canadians want, but also be politically savvy and turn that into electoral gains. So I look forward to meeting with my colleagues in the days and weeks ahead as we work together on that. But it does start with an honest assessment, and it starts with, you know, reimagining a better political offer for the future.
Just a quick question on sort of, I guess, what it looks like if you do end up, I mean, you do have enough seats to hold the balance of power. What do you envision that as looking like? And have you ruled out, for example, the kind of formal agreement that your party was in with the Liberals for 2 years?
Well, it's far too premature to rule in or rule out anything. I mean, you know, we're just right now, we're just dealing with the results of the election. I expect our colleagues will meet in the next few days. We'll have to pick an interim leader, and then we'll have to begin the process of scheduling and organizing a leadership contest. In the meantime, you know, there's all sorts of issues. You know, everything's negotiable in politics. And one of the things that I'm already thinking about is official party status. That number is arbitrary of 12. I know in BC last legislative session, the Greens secured official party status with, I think, 3 MLAs. And I think that's important because the NDP voice in Parliament is critical. When you have official party status, you get question period time, you get a seat at committee tables, and you also get some resources, research and communications and legislative. So, you know, I look forward to meeting with my colleagues and coming out with a proposal that we can bring to Parliament whenever it starts sitting And we've ruled nothing out at this time. What we are going to do is keep the interests of working Canadians and the vast majority of people who want affordable housing and want strong public health care and want a good deal for workers, want better foreign policy, want climate action, Indigenous justice, all of the issues that progressives care about in this country. We'll be there to champion them in this Parliament as strongly as we ever have.
Doesn't official party status, though, have to be earned? And didn't your party not earn it?
Well, it's in the standing orders. It's not a legislated number, Vashi. It's something that's fluid, and it's arbitrary. Like I said, I think it depends on the moment. I mean, one thing, as I've said, is Liberals don't have a majority. They're going to need the support of other parties, and when that happens, when you don't have a majority, they're compelled to sit down with other parties and start negotiating. So, this is something I think is important, and I look forward to talking with my NDP colleagues on putting forth a sound proposal to the Liberals. And like I said before, I've seen official party status in legislatures and parliaments with as few as 3 people in this country. So we'll be talking, and it'll be exciting times in the days and weeks ahead.
Just really quickly, if I understand that correctly, does that mean that basically you could use something like official party status as a bargaining chip in exchange for support on the entire government agenda, or just a piece of it?
Oh, I'm not saying anything like that. I mean, there's no agenda even constructed at this point. All I'm saying is that the NDP caucus is important. We might be 7, and we're going to be fighting for every conceivable parliamentary asset that we can to make sure that the voice of the million Canadians that voted for us is expressed in Parliament. And, I'm just saying that in a minority Parliament, governments have to listen in a way that they don't in a majority Parliament. And so that I think that opens opportunities for us to make sure that the NDP voice and the voice of all those who believe in our values are expressed and heard this Parliament.
Pardon me, will the interim leader be selected from caucus, and would you consider running for the position?
It remains to be seen, Vashi. Our federal council, in consultation with caucus, chooses the interim leader. I don't think it has to be within caucus constitutionally, but I think it's obviously an asset if they are. And, it's something that I would consider. And we've got a lot of great colleagues in our caucus who would be wonderful in that position. So I look forward. We haven't had a chance even to talk yet. So I look forward to chatting with my other 6 colleagues, and we'll be working solidly together as New Democrats do to make sure that we advocate the best possible social democratic progressive position we can in Parliament. And so we'll see what happens in the days ahead.
I'll leave it there. Thanks for making the time for the conversation, Mr. Davies, and congratulations on your win.
Thank you, Vashi.